Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today we're joined by the usual Isaac Richardson, and we are joined by Tom from Anfield Watch Academy. Today we'd just like to know more about Preston North End's latest loan signing, Sepp Den Berg.
Yeah, of course. Firstly, it's great to join you both today. I'm looking forward to discuss Sepp Den Berg. So I was wondering, what would you like to know specifically about him? To start off with.
So we've been sent in some questions. We'll begin with, what do you think his ceiling is as a player?
As a ceiling, I think he's got bags of potential. He's still only very young. I think he's 19. So he has a long career ahead of him, and obviously there's a lot of factors of how far he can go. But from what I've seen, and the potential that he had when he first joined Liverpool, I think in terms of his ceiling, the sky's the limit. He's impressed at the different levels he's played at. It weren't long ago since the under-23 coach was full of praise after his performance in the mini derby against Everton. So I think in terms of his ceiling, as if he keeps progressing the way he has been, I think he certainly can make a good career out of it. But I think this loan move to Preston will be it'll determine how far he can go. I think it'll be a great learning curve for him.
What are his key attributes as a centre half? What are his strengths?
So as a key attributes for him, then he's 6'2", so relatively tall for a centre back. Not the tallest, but he's tall enough to sort of hold his own, especially in the Championship, which is a very competitive league. He's right-footed, so a common trait for a centre back, really, being right-footed. I'd say he's quite calm and composed on the ball. When you watch him, whenever he has the ball at his feet, he always looks calm, and he always seems to pick out the simple pass. But simple pass, you don't want him to overcomplicate things. So I think that's one of his main strengths as a player. He doesn't try and complicate things, and he doesn't take unnecessary risks with the ball, I'd say. And when he does need to defend, he does the non-nonsense stuff that you need from a centre back. So I'd say they're sort of the main strengths that he has as a player. And I think he will develop more at Preston, where he might put different parts of the game into practice.
What do Liverpool fans think about him currently?
So I think Liverpool fans, obviously, he's a Netherlands international, up for under-19. He's played for the under-19s team quite a few times now, and he's got a reputation. With Van Dijk being at Liverpool, he's sort of come in as a Dutch centre half, and people had a lot of expectation from him, especially with being 17 at the time when he signed for just over £1 million. So he came in with a big reputation that perhaps he could follow in the similar footsteps to Van Dijk. I know it's a big comparison to make, but with being from the same nationality, I think he also sort of established himself as a first team in Zwolle, where he was playing before he came to Liverpool. So he sort of had played top flight football already. So I think perhaps Liverpool fans had the expectation that he could slot into the first team setup. He spent a lot of his time in the under-23s. And although he's been impressing the injury crisis at Liverpool, he hasn't really appeared. So, whether that suggests that they don't think he's ready for first team level, I think that might suggest he isn't yet. But I think he's certainly, if I had to sum up how Liverpool fans feel about him, I think we all feel that he's got great potential. It's just whether he unlocks that and whether Preston can sort of help him develop his game, bulk up a little bit, because he's quite slight. Although he's tall, he's not dead bulky. So I think he's got a lot of potential as a player. It's just whether he can unlock that.
Well, yeah, spoke about, he's not really been chosen at all, even though Liverpool have had. But it looks like Liverpool have addressed that with bringing in Ben Davies, which is part of the Sepp Den Berg coming to Preston. What are you expecting from them?
So all I've seen from in the last couple of days, it's been manic with the transfer window. But there's been a lot of expectation of who Liverpool are bringing in, and I think it took a lot of Liverpool fans certainly by surprise. Ben Davies, he's not particularly well known in the Premier League because obviously he spent a lot of his career in the Championship and below. But from what I've heard, he seems like a very good player, and he's been a great servant for Preston the last few seasons since breaking through. So I think Liverpool fans will just be excited to see how he gets on, especially with us being so short on centre-backs after the Matip news. He's out for the whole season now as well. So I think, Liverpool fans will... I don't think we'll have lots of expectation for him, but I think for him to make a few appearances and see, whether he can take his game to the next level, which I think, from what I've read, I believe that he can do that.
You've got yourself I was going to say, you've got yourself a hell of a player, that's for sure. As you touched on there, he's been in the spine of our side for the best part of 3 seasons. He's captained us on multiple occasions, so he's got that leadership and just an all-round very good player. You've got yourself a good one.
Yeah, just give you a little insight on what type of player you've just signed. He's fairly quick. His position is brilliant. He's mobile. He likes coming out with the ball and gliding across the pitch, and he can certainly switch that ball where I think that can be effective playing for Liverpool with the likes of Robertson, Mane, Trent and Salah on the back end of them. And I've watched Liverpool on many occasions this season. Teams let the centre-halves have the ball, and I think when Davies has the ball, he'll be able to kick out a pass. And with players like I just said, Robertson and Trent on the back end of them, it could certainly lead to more goals. I'm looking forward to seeing him at the highest level. I'm sure a lot of Preston fans are, but I definitely think he's capable of taking the next step up.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very exciting, to see how he gets on in the top flight, because it's his first time being in the Premier League. So, I think it's just a very exciting time for the player and club. And obviously, all I've seen, I've said it already, but all I've seen is massive reviews from Preston fans over social media. So it's definitely an exciting time.
Yeah, it's almost like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us there, Tom. It's given us a good insight on our loan signing and your new signing, Ben Davies. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. It's been great
Tom.
speaking to you both, and hopefully speak to you sometime soon. How he's going on at Preston. You're welcome. Take care.